In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
Good morning. Beware of the scribes and the Pharisees. Beware of the religious people. They are full of pride and they don't love. It's all about them. We saw how Jesus said it's not about sacrifice, it's about the love of God filling you up so that you can love God back and even love other people. It's about the love, folks. Well, today we're going to see a woman who loves in a tangible way. We're in Mark chapter 12, and I'm going to read verses 41 to the end of the chapter, and they say this. Jesus sat down opposite the treasury of the temple, and he began observing how the people were putting money into the treasury. Many rich people were putting in large sums. But a poor widow came, and she put in 2 small copper coins. They amounted to about a penny. Verse 43, calling his disciples to him, he said to them, truly, I say to you guys, look, I really want you paying attention to this. Truly, this poor woman put in more than all the contributors to the treasury, more than all of them put together. Verse 44, for they all put in out of their surplus. But this woman, she put in out of her poverty, put in all that she owned. She put in all that she had to live on. Well, let's talk about giving. Giving that is out of surplus helps other people. That's good, but that's not out of love, and it takes love. I had conversations sometimes about should you tithe? Well, my commentary on tithing is don't do it. Don't ever give out of obligation. Don't ever give out of, if I give, then God will give back. I've heard those sermons, you have too, and they're not the truth. God loves a cheerful giver, not an obligated giver. Yeah, I say don't tithe because that is a law that's established in the Old Testament. Yeah, I don't see it following through to the New Testament. Now, should you give? Absolutely give. Give like this woman gave. Give out of love. You know, there are service clubs and there are not-for-profit organizations that give a lot and they give regularly. And that's nice. That helps people for a short period of time. But when you give out of the love of God, so that they're not receiving money or they're not receiving a tangible gift, but they're receiving more than that because they're receiving God's hand on their lives, then that's going to make a difference for more than just a short time. I think that some of the greatest commentary on giving we find in 2 Corinthians chapters 8 and 9. I'll just touch on a couple of the things. In chapter 9, verse 7, it says, God loves a cheerful giver. Don't give out of obligation. Give out of a heart that says, oh my goodness, God is my provision. See, this woman, she gave everything she had to live on. How do you do that? You do that because you're trusting God. He's your provider, not your bank account. And so God loves a cheerful giver, somebody that gives because it's the love of God that motivates them. We see in chapter 8 how those in Macedonia wanted Paul to take a big gift to the folks in Jerusalem. And he said this in verse 2, in a great ordeal, the affliction, their abundance of joy. They were wrapped up in affliction, and yet it was their joy according to their ability. Now, are you listening? And beyond their ability, they gave of their own accord. But look at this in verse 5. So this is kind of my bottom line on today's commentary. This in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 5. They first gave themselves to the Lord, and then they gave themselves to us by the will of God. See, this woman put in a penny, but she had given herself to God. Have you done that? See, when the offering plate comes by, put it on the ground and step into it. Because that's what blesses the Lord when we give Him of ourselves. God bless you who has given yourself. Now, be a giver. God is our provision. Come join us tomorrow. We'll start chapter 13. I look forward to being with you. I'll see you then.
Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus.